Hey guys, it's your boy Nate, and today we're back with another tutorial. So today we're going to be working on a hanging gardens tutorial, which is something actually we've been wanting to do for a long time on this channel. Now, what's the fun part is we're going to be using the quartz pillars and a few other blocks, which is actually one of my oldest, most favorite palettes. I haven't used this palette in quite some time, but it was actually the one I started Minecraft altogether using, believe it or not. I built some kind of crazy house back in the day using it, back before I even got good at building or anything. But basically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be building platforms around it. It's going to be a older, more antiquated theme, but instead of having our usual gardens on the ground like these, today we'll be going and focusing more on hanging blocks like the regular vine, the glowberry vine, and all these other things, including the pale hanging moss which they added this update. We'll also be trying to add some custom vines using leaf blocks and such as that, showing you a lot of the cool things you can do with this game. So let's get started by just creating ourselves some basic structures we can work with, trying to create varying pillars of different heights, while trying to keep some system to them. So you can see I made this pillar a bit taller than these ones, giving you a bit of an idea. But basically what we're going to do with this particular garden is make it sort of like the cat jungle gyms you can do and buy nowadays. Just revealing the hollow stuff we have under there by accident. Anyway, yeah. Many of you who have owned a cat or like have seen the cat videos pretty much understand that people have these weird jungle gym type things for them. And the reason we're using that example right now is because we can actually use that to create a sort of layered effect by using that sort of logic. So as we're still building up these pillars, you can build them up in pretty much any way you want. We're just going to do a few layers of our own ideas right here. But this one's obviously going to need one a bit out of place from this area, so bring that up a bit, and there we go. And we're just going to have some fixed up height over there. Now, what exactly am I even doing, you may ask? It's platform, we're basically creating platforms. So hanging garden, I will try to get a picture of it up here on the video, post edit. But basically, the platforms are what the vines hang from, and the best way to build the platforms is by just building them on pillars and such like this to support them. Now, we're also going to put a gazebo over in this corner, so that's where we're going to have a bit of a different shape. Add a block free gap right there. As I casually just drop my quartz pillars again. But basically, with any garden, you always want to have the structural planning ahead of time, which is exactly what we're doing right now. So we have the planning right there, and just one more set of pillars, and we will be set for this particular gazebo. Now that we have our basic idea ready, we can begin the actual assembly process. So we're going to switch over to our quartz slabs and start, just layering in all this. It has to be at we're going to hang things from it. We need to place them down on the bottom of this particular block. So this is going to be a platform one right here that we're going to show you. It's not as much of a hanger, but we will have a hanging aspect to this one as well. So it's going to be a quicker one we can just assemble in a hurry to give you guys an idea of what we'll be doing in the long run. So as you can see, I'm wrapping this around, but it doesn't have to wrap around the whole thing. We're going to make more of a modern hanging gardens right here. And there we go, back wrapped around. And this particular one will be a platform, whereas this one over here will be our actual hanging section. So then we go ahead and switch back to this one and wrap around again. And we're going to obviously want to bring it even further around until we have made ourselves the entire platform we're going to use to hang things. And there we go. A bit of completionist stuff right there. Now we can go ahead and switch over to some moss, probably would be a good touch. And go ahead and fill this in. Unfortunately, we can't do a full block right there, or a half block, more to speak. But this will allow us to place vegetation on there if we wanted to. But since we're doing modern, I'm just going to leave it as is. It looks a bit like shrubbery. So there we go. We just go ahead and switch over to something simple. In this case, let's go with our glowberries. These will, of course, grow downward. And we will have that little bit right there. We can, of course, add a second layer down below here, if we so choose. There we go. That's one piece of the structure done. Now, let's add a bit of a variation. This one is going to be its own unique thing over here. And as we build this one, we're also going to need to shape this one out a bit different. This one will have that little section on the bottom go all the way around. But we're not going to do the corners on this one. We're just going to make this one a little less geometric. Okay, and basically it's giving you ideas of how far you can take this. You don't have to follow any really set pattern. It's all what you feel is best for your build. This one's going to just completely be barely hanging on like so, and it's going to have a supportive thing right about there. Here we go. It's now supported, and we're just going to place a block inside there. Now that we have that, we can of course switch back to our beautiful shrubbery that we're going to be placing through here. And back to this. Now I'm pretty sure we can place these along the edge, and I was mistaken. So for this particular one, we're going to need to, of course, layer it up like that. But don't worry, I have an idea for how it's going to work. After these grow down, they will grow down in a manner similar to the way that these ones are going to place on this side will. But nonetheless, we're also going to have the ones that are going to grow down from below this as well. But without the corners, we also have to account for all the other stuff. We're going to leave one block gap for the edge there as well. Alright, here we go. Another one is complete. And that's a little bit of variation already. Now what we're going to do is move on to the next one over here. And yes, we will be doing planters as well, do not worry. But here we go. This is another one with a bit more variation. It's going to be level a little 3 tier 1. And we're going to space this one out over this way. Basically, you can do all sorts of shit with this. And yes, excuse the language, but there's all sorts of things. You can make just about anything your heart desires in this game. Now, to throw in a bit more variation, we're going to make this one snake a bit. And that's exactly what we have right around here. Just connect it up to that particular pillar right over there, and we can begin to bring it back around. Alright. And there we go. Now that we have that in place, we can of course remove that pillar because it seems a bit out of the way. And bring it back around. Continue on so until we get to our next pillar. But while we're doing this, I might as well just bring up that these tutorials are not meant for you to like intentionally copy it block for block. Otherwise, I would tell you exactly how many of each block you need and all that. Now, I want you to look at these videos and I want you to say, oh, that's a cool idea. Maybe I should try that with my own unique touch. Try this with my palette I like better. Like, my stone bricks is what I like. Is a good variant. Or, I like the new mud bricks, okay? Let's go with those. See, I want you guys to take my videos and use them to think outside the box on your own builds. Basically, don't try and be the person that stays at the same level all the time because you kept watching one creator's videos. And I don't want to be that creator either. I don't want to be the one that gave you a number and a bunch of blocks to build with and just made you repeat my style. Let my style be my style and your style be your style. That's the way I like to say it. Okay? There should a lot of things that I think tutorial channels get wrong is they don't teach the builder or the viewer, more to speak, how to build on their own. If I say to use one thing, take it with a grain of salt. Use something else that looks better, use that. See, I'm only using this quartz thing because I don't use it all too often, but it looks good in a modern setting. There's no singular palette that's recycled over and over in this mess over here. It's beautiful, and if we walk through it, which we will at the end, as we do every video, basically there is always something unique, and it all has a beautiful tie to it. So nonetheless, here we go. We're going to just continue this little structure here. This one is a bit more irregular for sure. But we're going to use this as our first layer in the build. And of course, we will be using the other stuff as a ground layer in just a bit. But we want to add some color to this build, don't we? So what are we going to do about that? That is simple. We're going to switch to the Weeping Vines from the Nether because it does allow us to have a bit more color in the form of the color red. And there we go. A little more and we should be ready to go. And bingo. Now we just need to add our final little platform, which is going to be right about here. It's going to be another hanging platform for our beautiful vines. And this one, of course, will be another one of the regular variant vine platforms. Nothing really too special, but it will at least have something to tie it all together. But instead of doing the way we did it last time with that one back there, we're going to have this center hollow like the other ones. It's going to be a fully hollow center version of the vine platform. And we're also going to leave a gap right there. Or not. Let's not piss you guys off right now. But we're also going to, while we're at it, since we have these pale versions, we're going to hang those off the bottom as a bit of color contrast to what we're about to do. So we have these, and we also have our little hanging vines we'll be adding. When you look at that, something I didn't know I could do is I could go ahead and extend them downwards. That'll be something we'll have to play with in a future video for sure. See, exploring new features is always fun. You never know what kind of thing you'll discover. And if for someone who's a builder like me, there's really no end to the possibilities that you can enjoy as long as you let your imagination flow. And just so you know, before I record each day, but I never have really any idea of what I'm going to end up with. I have a general idea, but I don't have like a visual, thought out idea. I just hit go live or hit record, whatever I'm doing for that day, and I just let my mind go free. So there we go. We have this section over here that has been done. Now we have to, of course, switch over to the hanging vines as we said before. Of course, I'm in the wrong tab. I'm going to go to our natural blocks, and yes, it is the weeping vines. I was not mistaken. And here we go. Just let it grow out a little bit, like so. But let's not bring it all the way around, shall we? We want to give it a little bit of room. And there we go. Let's also do a little bit more down here just so we don't have too out of place, you might say. And there we go. We have that particular one ready to blossom. And we're ready to move on to the next part of the build. Next bit may sound even a bit odd, but we're also going to do some planters on the ground using similarly geometric planters, which is something we have never done on this channel before. I've always been starkly against building geometric planters, but in this scenario I think they would look quite nice. So there we go. We're going to build it out this way. And I came to the realization that this is, of course, in the way. As I casually knock that out. But we're going to just bring this around just like so. And now that particular one is halfway within a planter. And I think this is all tied together quite nicely. One more, we're going to place it over here. And bring it around before we bring it back this way. Alright. Now we can move on to this gazebo before we move on to custom vines themselves. Now I do understand this is a bit of a longer video than I'm used to making, but we're just enjoying ourselves like usual, trying to create some sort of custom dreamland. And instead of doing a open top gazebo, I mean not an open top, instead of doing a usual domed gazebo like you may have seen me do in the past, I'm going to instead make it an open top, like I was trying to say, and just do it like so, and then put a couple benches on the inside. So we're going to casually just bring this around and place that there. Do the same over here. And we have ourselves a simple structure that will serve as our little gazebo. Now that we have all of that said and done, I think this all is tied together quite well. This is obviously a minimalist garden. We'll not be putting anything in these planters, but nonetheless, we're going to move on to our final step. This will be the leaf structures. So here we go. We're going to grab ourselves the leaves, and we're going to use ourselves some of the flowering azalea leaves, as these at least will add some flowering foliage to the garden. What we're going to do here is we're going to build it around the gazebo itself, so it's not a out of place structure. As you can see, we're just placing it in random stuff like this. We can tie anything together to be part of the build. And we're of course going to bring it around here to this back corner. And one more to this one. As I casually managed to replace a block right there. And of course, we can also take this even further and make it growing all over it if we wanted to, but we're not going to. We're just going to leave it as so. And next up, we can just casually have it creeping up one of these, like so. As I just discolored it again. But there we go. We have ourselves our little garden with all these weird and wacky vines growing everywhere. And I think it all looks wonderfully tied together. It definitely fits in with the rest of the garden, with the weird dreamy aspect. So, but as we go ahead and we walk through the garden as it currently is, I just want to tell you guys, if you made it this far into the video, I definitely appreciate you guys for all that you've done, for being here, for supporting me as a creator. And if you really want to support me even more, I do go live just about every day on Twitch. And I also go live just about once a week, usually on a Sunday, on YouTube as well, where I play on a Creator SMP with my friends, some of which I see every now and then, some of who have been with me on this channel for quite some time. So, really just a cycle of supporting, but you as my community mean the most to me. You mean everything to me as a creator. So, I am very thankful to you all for watching. I do hope to see you around in the near future. Thank you.